Have you ever had a gut feeling about something? You know, that deep down intuition, or maybe felt butterflies in your stomach when you were nervous? Well, it turns out that's not just some old saying. It's actually proof of a hidden conversation happening inside your body right now. A constant buzzing connection between your gut and your brain that affects pretty much everything from your mood to your health. This is the incredible story of the gut-brain axis.
And that question right there is at the heart of a huge shift in how we think about the human body. For so long, we pictured the brain as this undisputed command center, calling all the shots. But what we're learning now is that our digestive system is so much more than a food processor. It's an active, intelligent partner in a dialogue that is constantly shaping who we are.
Okay, so to really get this connection, our first stop has to be the gut itself. And what we find down there isn't just a simple tube for digestion. Nope, we find a surprisingly smart operating system. So complex, in fact, that scientists have nicknamed it our second brain.
Now, this second brain has an official name, the enteric nervous system, or ENS for short. Just picture this. It's a massive web of millions of neurons, all lining your gut. And what's just mind-blowing is that it can work all by itself. It can manage the entire process of digestion without needing direct orders from your head. That's where those very real physical sensations come from. That gut feeling, those butterflies, they aren't just in your head. They are real neurological events happening right here in your second brain.
And get this, the chemical firepower of this second brain is just wow. A whopping 90% of your body's serotonin, the famous happy neurotransmitter that's key for your well-being, is made right here, in the gut. Not the brain, the gut. It also pumps out about half your body's dopamine, the molecule of motivation and reward. This discovery completely flips the script on where we think our emotions actually come from.
All right, so we've got two brains, one up here, one down there. The big question then is, how in the world do they talk to each other? Well, it turns out they have a dedicated, high-speed communication line just for that.
That main connection is called the vagus nerve. The best way to think about it is like a super fast fiber optic cable that runs all the way from your brainstem down through your chest and plugs right into your digestive system. It's this biological superhighway, and it's buzzing with messages flying back and forth 24/7. And this isn't a one-way monologue, not at all. It's a true two-way street. You have signals constantly traveling up from the gut to the brain. Those are called afferent signals. They're carrying intel like, hey, we just got some nutrients, or there's some inflammation down here. And in response, the brain sends signals down to the gut, the efferent signals, to help control digestion. This constant back and forth is what manages everything from hunger to how we react to stress.
But here's the part that really blows my mind. About 80% of the traffic on this superhighway is flowing in one direction, from the gut to the brain. Just let that sink in for a second. Your gut is doing most of the talking, constantly sending these updates that have a massive influence on how your brain experiences the world.
Okay, but the story doesn't stop there. It's not just a conversation between two organs. There's a third, major player we have to talk about. The trillions and trillions of tiny organisms living inside your gut. And they aren't just hanging out. They're basically sending their own text messages.
The scale we're talking about here is almost impossible to wrap your head around. Your gut is home to as many as 100 trillion microorganisms, all these bacteria, viruses, fungi, and we call this community the gut microbiota. To put it another way, cell for cell, you're actually more microbe than you are human. And this bustling inner city plays a massive role in that gut-brain conversation.
You can think of these microbes as zillions of tiny chemical factories, just cranking out stuff that directly affects your brain. We're talking about major neurotransmitters, like serotonin for your mood, GABA, which helps you feel calm, and dopamine for motivation. These little microbial messages can get into your bloodstream or even tickle the vagus nerve directly, literally shaping how you think and feel from moment to moment.
So what's the takeaway here? The really crucial part? It's that we can actually get in on this conversation. What you eat is basically the food that fuels these microbes. So a diet packed with fiber from things like fruits, veggies, and whole grains, that helps create a diverse, healthy little community down there. Your diet is one of the most powerful tools you have to change the messages your gut is sending to your brain.
So that's what it looks like when everything's running smoothly. But what happens when this whole communication network gets jammed up? Well, one of the biggest disruptors in our modern lives is, you guessed it, chronic stress. Think about it. When you're stressed out, your brain goes into fight or flight mode, right? Well, that sends a shockwave right down to your gut,
Stress can actually weaken the vagus nerve, which normally acts as a kind of natural brake on inflammation in your body. And when that brake gets weak, it can kick off a whole bunch of problems.
Let's break down how this domino effect happens. First, stress messes with the vagus nerve, and its anti-inflammatory signal gets weaker. Because of that, the protective wall of your gut can start to get leaky. And when that happens, you get an imbalance of good and bad gut bacteria, a state called dysbiosis. This whole nasty cycle is linked to things like IBS, but also anxiety and depression.
Okay, I know. Hearing all that can sound a little scary, but here's the really good news. We have a ton of power to support and strengthen this connection. We can actively make choices that encourage a healthier, happier conversation between our two brains.
So, what can you actually do? It really boils down to two big things: your diet and your lifestyle. On the food front, you want to focus on fiber-rich whole foods. That's what your good microbes love to eat. You can think of prebiotic foods like garlic and bananas as fertilizer for your gut garden. And probiotic foods like yogurt or kimchi are like planting new seeds. Then on the lifestyle side, things like meditation or exercise help manage stress, which actually strengthens your vagus nerve and keeps that all-important anti-inflammatory signal strong.
So what does all of this really mean for you? The big takeaway is this: your gut isn't just for digestion. It's a sensory organ, it's a chemical factory, and it is profoundly influencing your mind every single day. And knowing this is incredibly empowering. It means that taking care of your gut by thinking about what you eat and how you handle stress is one of the most direct and powerful ways you can take care of your mind. That conversation between your two brains is happening right now inside you. The only question left is, how are you going to listen in and shape it?